67, huh? Oh, what a hit on Dunham by Switowski.
I think I made him shit himself.
What up, DJ Anubis? Here with you in the Metal Time Radio podcast with my great friend and co-host Edgar Allan Foe.
What's going
with a new episode of Poetic Carnage as we get ready to kick off the 2024 NFL season. And I think the way that we talked, we're going to kind of do this a little differently this year, where we'll do this. We're going to give our division winners, our rankings of each division. I've got my teams that I've selected from each conference who are going to make the playoffs, the 6 teams that are going to make it, at least in my opinion. You probably have your list or will. Then midway through the season, we'll do a regroup, go through, see how the season has played out to that point. And, of course, right before the playoffs, we'll do another one. And, of course, throughout the playoffs, we'll probably do a little bit more regularly just to talk about the games because that's usually the more exciting part of the season.
We might, things might line up. We might throw an extra episode in there somewhere. We'll see how it goes. It's
if there's like trades or injuries or crazy
big
shit
deal.
that goes on.
And sometimes holiday schedules line up to where I'm off on a day that you're off, and we're not going to try to do it weekly. One, it never really worked out that way, and two, we're doing it on Wednesday or Thursday, covering last week's games, and then it's a cleaner fit. We like to try things out here,
right? So I was going through today because, I've been kind of lazy with keeping up with the teams and who's getting who, what the starters and all this. And I know, let's just kind of briefly talk about our teams in respect of Broncos. Obviously, we drafted Bo Nix, is listed as our starter quarterback going into the season. I like it. I like him. I don't really know how the season's going to play out. Hoping for the better. Actually, I feel better about the team watching the preseason. I know that's not something that you can really hold to the fire because preseason doesn't really tell you what's going to happen in the regular season, but you do see things that make you feel comfortable going into the season. I like the fact that we were able to put points up even against scrubs, something we hadn't done the last couple of seasons. I feel better at our quarterback system. We have a couple of veterans, veterans, if you want to call it that, with Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. So if shit should go south and Bo needs to sit or gets hurt, we have at least somebody who's competent that can run the show. And Sean's play calling seems to be pretty strong. Now with you, the Steelers, you told me Russ is the guy that's going to lead you out the gates.
Yeah, he was named the starter.
Personally, I know a lot of people feel the same way I do. I'd rather see Fields. We talked about this last year, how we are a little bit better on Fields than we were initially. He's he probably put in a bad position in Chicago, although Caleb Williams looks great. I don't know. It's like a whole different world over there.
It's a whole different team.
And that's the thing too. Like I looked at some of the roster changes for some of these teams, and I'm like, wow.
Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, they paid more. They didn't pull a Cowboys. They paid them early, so they don't have to give them an extra $50 million guaranteed or whatever it is. They got DeAndre Swift on a 1-year deal. Allen's on the 1-year deal. Only give up a fourth to get him. It's always great to have a veteran route runner who can work the middle of the field for a young quarterback. The line probably needs some work still, but it's definitely better. Defense, after they, it's a commonly cited stat, but after they traded for Sweat, which was halfway through the season, they were a top 10 unit all the way through. You think that the Bears defense is going to be pretty damn good. It's not what Fields was playing with. I have a lot to say about Russ and all of that. I'm going to save it for when I do the divisional breakdown because I'm going to go through the teams. What I'll say for the Steelers is offensive line injuries have been tough. We lost our starting center for the year.
Oh my God!
Now I think he was going to lose his job to the kid that we drafted out of West Virginia, Frazier. And I think Frazier's already better than our guy. But still, now we don't have depth there. We lost a guard. Now he didn't tear his pec. I mean, he only partially tore his pec, I should say. So we lost there. Broderick Jones is hurt. He's looked awful in preseason because he's playing with a cast, so he has no punch. He's still not at left tackle. He's a right tackle. We thought we were going to put him at right tackle, or we thought we were going to put him at left tackle and put Fatanu at left, or swap them. You know what I'm trying to say. Fatanu's hurt, so he hasn't had much preseason play at all. So we have 60 to 80% of our line, depending on how you want to slice it, is hurt. So we're not going to be very good at protecting the quarterback for a while. Hopefully better for running the ball. Jalen Warren's hurt. He hurt his hamstring. He's not going to be playing immediately. It's
It's gonna
been
be a struggle.
TJ Watt's
Well,
healthy.
let's start
so
with
there's
the
that.
AFC East. So,
All right.
who I have winning the division is the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, that's spicy.
That's
Spicy. Spicy tuna.
Now they did add some people into their wide receiver core. They're not really difference makers per se. They still have Waddle,
Yep.
but
And
I do
Hill.
think they did add some stuff on defense like Shaq Barrett, which is good. I think that Tuivasa is going to be a very good quarterback as long as he stays healthy. I think they're going to be a contender. You still kind of wonder about how they are when they go into colder elements because we saw what happened last year when they went to Buffalo or was it Kansas City? I can't remember which one. They just got totally
Kansas
ripped in
City.
ass.
Yeah,
so they got ripped in
dominated.
ass. But if they can find a way to get more home field throughout the not the entire playoffs, because I don't think they're going to be able to do that, but at least one game, I think they're going to benefit from that. So, who do you have winning the division in the East?
I got Buffalo.
Okay. Well, they were number 2 for me. So,
yeah, I feel very strongly about this one. I think the death of Buffalo is being prematurely written. They don't have Stephon Diggs, and I don't subscribe to the notion that he didn't do anything for them the last half of last year because he was still a great decoy. They have Shakir. They have Curtis Samuel. Shakir was really good when he played last year. He was banged up. I think he was a rookie. They have James Cook in the backfield and Ray Davis. They're going to run the ball much better than people think. Curtis Samuel.
I did notice they've got Chase Claypool and they've got Marquise Valdez-Scantling, so they're serviceable receivers.
Yeah, they have. Well, they just cut Claypool.
Did they really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, Claypool. He's going to have to play in Canada. I think he's going to be Canadian Claypool. But the way that I look at it is they have Docs, they have Kincaid, they have young wide receivers that aren't proven, but I like them a lot. They have a good running back and good running back depth with Davis. They're going to play old school football, and they're going to play old school football with a huge, massive running quarterback. Their defense, they lost a lot of guys on defense, and I'm not going to sit there and say otherwise. But a lot of those guys are injury prone. A lot of those guys didn't play last year. They were a top 10 unit last year. They're a pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the mix. I just, they tend to be Buffalo, tend to be those teams that kind of either get on a hot roll and kind of become sluggish, or vice versa, where they start
every year. Allen gets hurt, he gets dinged up, and then they stumble. That's happened 3 years in a row now. I just think that they're being written off too easily, and I also think that the other teams, like for instance, I want to like the Dolphins, right? I like Tua. I'm a Tua stan, as I've been called. I think he's underrated. He does have the issue with cold weather games. I understand that. The problem with them is they lost their best defensive player, Christian Wilkins. He was a beast for them. And then if you look at Jalen Phillips, who I love coming out of college, and he's been awesome. He's coming off of an Achilles. Now, they drafted Chop Robinson, and he's been playing very well. But then if you look at the other linebacker, I don't think, as far as I can tell, what's the name of the Chubb isn't going to play for them this year. So they had 2 elite rushers. Chubb was in the DPOY mix before he got hurt. He had like 6 or 7 forced fumbles. He was tearing it up.
They do have Calais Campbell, but I don't know how much he's got in the tank.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a serviceable guy. They got Jordan Brooks. He's decent. Ramsey's a great corner still. But the problem, actually, let me look up what's going on with Bradley Chubb. I want to know.
Yeah, I don't even see it. Well, I mean, he wouldn't be in a pickup, but because I'm just looking at free agent.
He's on PUP. So he's not even scheduled to start the season on the active roster. So their pass rush is going to be, now Jalen Phillips is a freak athlete, and Achilles recoveries have been going better recently, but it's hard to think he's going to be as dynamic as he was last year. So they have a hurt pass rusher, Chop Robinson. I think you're going to be able to run the ball in Miami all day and all night. I love A-Chain, their running back, but he's an injury-prone guy. Mostert's just another guy. The tight ends, whatever. They have Tyreek Hill. You can definitely say he's the best wide receiver in football. I still think it's Jefferson, but Tyreek Hill has a very strong argument to it. They have Waddle, who's really underrated. This is going to be a big year for Waddle. So they'll be in the mix, but with no defense, in a kind of finesse offense and an offensive line that, if we're being honest,
That's
it wasn't
true.
really
I mean,
that
they've got to
great.
be physical in that division. So
It's tough. And then you look at the Jets. The Jets will be Miami. I should get ahead of myself. Miami will be in wild card contention.
yeah,
The Jets will be in wild card contention. I've seen worse teams than the Jets win a division, but I think that the Bills are going to be a team that like old school football fans rally around this year. I really do. And
yeah, I have the Jets third, and the only reason why is because I don't. They made a couple big signs with Kinlaw and Reddick, but I don't see a lot of other moves, especially in offense, to help out Rodgers. And so
Mike
I
Williams is
kind
great,
of,
but he's always hurt.
yeah,
And then they traded for what's that pass rusher that they got from Philadelphia? He's an excellent player, but the reason Philly traded him.
Thomas.
No, it's
I see Fotu, Thomas, Reddick, and Kinlaw.
I think it's Reddick.
Hassan Reddick, yeah, that's
Hassan
probably
Reddick, yeah.
yeah,
He's a stud. But Philadelphia traded him because they always have pass rushers. He wants a new contract. And then they traded him, and his agent said, whoever trades for him, he's still going to want that new contract. And he's not shown up to do anything. So
yeah.
their front office is very Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know if he's going to show up and play. And if he does, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get into shape and get used to NFL speed because he hasn't done any camp or whatever. So the Jets have, and then their offensive line is still bad and old. I will believe that Aaron Rodgers isn't a good quarterback when I see it, but I don't know how great he is. I don't think anybody can have a strong opinion about how good Rodgers is or isn't because there's so much unknown.
We just haven't seen anything yet.
Right.
He just played one snap last year. Was it?
Yeah, and it's just and as frustrating of a person as Rodgers can be, and how sometimes that bleeds over and impacts his team.
Right.
Still one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever fucking seen. I'll always be a fan of the guy. It's sometimes
But how
wish he
much
would
is
shut
left?
up. But how much is
How's
fucking
the
left?
injury going to affect him and everything else?
And how much is it fair? How fair is it to expect him to throw 40 touchdowns?
Right.
I don't know, and I'm not saying that that's even what they're expecting of him. But what I am saying, quite frankly, is if they keep talking about the Super Bowl since he got there, Super Bowl, he's going to have to be pretty excellent for them to win a Super Bowl.
Oh God, yeah.
Dude,
and I mean, I'm looking. I have the Patriots fourth, and like they named, I think, Brissett to be their starter, but they do have Antonio Gibson, which I think he's a pretty decent back.
Yeah.
They picked up Jalen Reagor, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper as tight ends, which they're pretty decent if you can get them to play at a good level.
I think Reagor's a bad football player, if I'm being honest. I love the talent, but I don't think he can play. The other guys,
I think he lived up to it.
He's got the talent. Doesn't matter if you can't catch the fucking ball, and he just doesn't get open anymore. I'm not trying to disparage the guy. He's definitely good enough to be in the league, but he's not. They don't have anybody. Their excellent offensive players were Ramondre Stevenson, who's an underrated running back. Everybody else is solid at best, or they're young and they're developing. So I do want to be fair. You know me, I'm a sucker for young players. I actually have this weird concept that they can play and get better at things. Which
sometimes too, just teams changing scenery sometimes helps. So
yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you get stuck with a coach that just doesn't believe in you, or they're going to put you in a scheme that doesn't work. I believe it's hard to get. There's just no oomph to that offense at all. And Jacoby Brissett is not good. He's a backup. He's a solid backup, but he's a backup quarterback.
I forget who is the rookie behind him.
Drake May.
Drake May. Okay.
He's had some moments in one of my homies, shout out to the homie Hinkle, is a big Drake May guy and really believes in him. So maybe he's got the Hinkle blessing. The Hinkle blessing is powerful. But I just shout out to Hinkle. He was one of the most active guys in our draft for draft night. He was the Denver guy. He loves Elway. Anyway, man, Hinkle's a very smart guy, very talented guy. I got Buffalo. I got the Jets and Miami duking it out. Do we want to save wild card stuff just for its own section?
Yeah, we're gonna do that at the end of this conference.
So I got Buffalo. You got Miami.
Miami, yeah.
Right.
I'm actually going to save my list this time because last year I kind of forgot who I picked where.
You had to go back and watch the episode.
Right. Okay, so your favorite division, the North.
Yeah.
I have Baltimore winning the division.
Solid pick.
I figured you would too. Now, this is where it gets sketchy for me because before you gave me the information on Steelers, I had Pittsburgh second. So if, for whatever reason, you guys really struggle out the gate, I'm going to have to switch Pitt with my third pick, which is Cleveland.
Oh, you got the Bengals last?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. It's scary, isn't it? Spicy.
That is
spicy latte.
That's just spice. You just that. That is that. I love it.
But like I said, I do believe in Pittsburgh still. I like Tomlin a lot, and hopefully the young guys that you talked about who are coming in can fill in and not miss a beat, like maybe actually improve what's there. But I struggle with Russell so much, man. I know they played a little better in their last game, but
it's fool's
gold.
Know. It's you're not gonna like my list. You're not gonna.
Okay,
like it.
Well, let's rock and roll.
All right, I'm gonna put it in reverse. I have Pittsburgh at 4. We're gonna be last in the division. Yep.
Wow.
At 3, I have Cleveland. It's hard for me to put Cleveland ahead of us. At 2, I have Baltimore. At 1, I have Cincinnati. Now, this is contingent upon when I made my list, it was reported that Chase was showing up and he was going to play. Now he's still doing the hold in. So if he's not playing week 1, I'm swapping Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think that's fair. But I'm going to presume that Chase is there. So Joe Burrow.
But now they don't have. I mean, they have Higgins still, but they don't have Floyd or the Tyler Boyd.
They don't, but they replaced him. So I'm going to pull up their.
They got Trenton Irwin.
Yeah. So if you look,
Higgins is still great. He's still a great number 2.
So,
but,
all right, I'm going to run through their depth chart. I hate fucking doing this.
Oh, they did pick up Gesicki though. That's a good pick.
Burrow. I love Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss is going to run the ball quite well for them. He's a different back than Joe Mixon. Mixon became a better receiving back than a runner. And Zach Moss
was really small, so it's like he was never really a power back. So that was
he could do it when he was younger because he was such a dynamic athlete. But then you have Chase Brown behind Moss, right? Then you have that's Chase Brown. Then you have Jamar Chase and Higgins again, presuming that Chase is playing. Andre, I can't say this guy's name, and it's no disrespect to him. They really like him. And then you have Gesicki, who is just, as you said, Gesicki is a solid tight end. If you don't pay any attention to him, he's going to burn you. He can work the middle of the field. I presume he can still block fairly well. It's just their offense is so brutal. Now, I am thinking that their running backs are going to level up and run the ball a little bit more, which will help Burrow stay healthy. But Burrow, it's hard to think he's going to keep getting hurt, and I don't want him to. I don't like the Andrew Luck thing, although at least the Bengals, they went out and they got Orlando Brown. They went out and they got a Trent Brown. They drafted Mims, who we both liked, although I believe
they had to start doing it at some point because he was getting killed. Like he was making plays, but he was getting killed.
After his first year, they kept injecting talent after talent. Some of it's bad luck. Some of it is I feel quite vindicated about the Orlando Brown Jr. is the rate overrated. The Baltimore let him go. He had one really nice year in Kansas City. They offered him a bag. He said, no, I'm going to bet on myself. I want more money. He was not that great. He was still good, but he wasn't great. Kansas City said, yeah, Mahomes will be okay. He went to Cincinnati. He's been fairly good. He's had some rough moments. He's been fairly good in Cincinnati. He has not been a top 5. He's not an elite left tackle. We'll just say that. But the line, they've spent more attention on the line than a lot of teams do. And you look at their defense. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Hendrickson still trying to hold out. Last year he joined the vaunted club of I too am a better defensive player and had a better defensive season than the DPOY winner.
Right.
Myles Garrett was only the third best defensive player in his division, so you got to give him that charity DPOY award. I'll never not be bitter over that. Fuck you, voters, you're dumb. Regardless, I view it as Cincinnati's their nucleus is intact at least for one more year. Baltimore, they're always good. Even the biggest Lamar hater has to give him that he's an excellent regular season quarterback. They lost a lot of people. Baltimore always loses a lot of people. People always sign their free agents. They draft well. They always have replacements. The Browns are not going to be very good. I thought I'd see more people picking them to be a fringe Super Bowl contending team. Since everybody,
I don't think they'll be Super Bowl bound, but they did add
they'll
Jerry
contend
Jeudy
for the wild card. But they have a very good defense that's not great, but we'll pretend that it's great because we don't like facts. We don't care about scoring defense or certain other metrics that matter. Deshaun Watson is their quarterback. That puts a hard cap on how good they can be.
Now he's going to have to really step up because last year I wasn't super impressed with his play. So
yeah, he hasn't been a good quarterback in 3 years. So that's always a great way to go. It's just, and then I'm gonna get to Pittsburgh, and I have to be consistent. Russ isn't good. He is a marginal quarterback, and he was a marginal quarterback with Sean Payton, who is in my opinion, a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame offensive genius. We don't have a coordinator that meshes well with him. Arthur Smith loves to get the ball to the tight end. Hey, anyone who's ever rooted for a team that Russ is quarterback, who doesn't get the ball? The tight end, because he can't see the middle of the field, because he can't fucking see over the offensive line. Okay, he's physically diminished. It's not his fault. Father Time happens. He's played through a lot of injuries because he's a tough bastard too. That'll wear on you. So he's not the big play guy that he was. He's not hypermobile. We now know that the whole myth around him being a cerebral quarterback, that was what we were fed when he was in Seattle. We know that that's not true.
Do you think, though, real quickly,
yeah,
do you think because of this fact, so we know that in Seattle, Russ was used to kind of chucking it to guys like Lockett. Now I noticed Pitt signed Van Jefferson and Cordell Patterson, were both speedsters. So do you think that's kind of their plan with him? Is to kind of take chances down the field?
I do. He can still hit the deep ball. Patterson's is a return man for us, and he's also our third running back. I don't know how much we're going to throw to him. I loved getting him because of the new kickoff rules.
He's pretty special when he gets out in open field.
He's in his 30s. He's just an awesome. He didn't live up to the first round hype, but Patterson is a great example of just because
wasn't he drafted by Minnesota initially?
Yep. Yeah, that was the year they had 3 first-round picks, and I think they all whiffed. But Patterson salvaged his career. Shout out to players like Patterson who find a way to stay in the league, and also when you're one of the most dynamic athletes in the league, that also helps as well. I fucking love that guy. I was so happy when we signed him. I might buy his jersey.
He was great in Atlanta. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I might buy his jersey. That's one of the guys who it's just.
You guys did get Patrick Queen. That's huge. That's
he's going to be good. I don't know if he'll be as good as he was in Baltimore, especially after they traded for what's that linebacker's name? They got him from Chicago. But that pairing made him special. Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah. Roquan Smith. That's who it was. They traded for Roquan Smith, and then that really helped Queen level up. Queen's going to be really good. Here's the problem. All right. We got rid of Deontay Johnson, who's a good wide receiver. He was not worth the drama and the headache. Okay. Fine. We almost landed Ayuk 3 different times this offseason. So clearly we were looking for a second wide receiver. Pickens is an awesome player. I think he's very underrated. Van Jefferson is really a 3. I mean, even in his height of powers in LA,
he wouldn't be a number 2 at all.
So he's a bad number 2. He's ideally he's a number 4. So Roman Wilson also hurt. So the kid we drafted out of Michigan also hurt. So we're not very deep at wide receiver. Our big play running back is hurt. We have the 3rd toughest schedule in football. We start the season on the road. Russ isn't very good. I don't think he's a very good fit for our guy. And
who's your opening game?
Atlanta. So we're playing against a team that could be projected to be quite good. I think they'll be quite good. And this is the problem. I know I'm a Justin Fields guy, and I'm going to preface this by saying I swear to you I'm not an apologist. But hear me out just hypothetically. Let's say Justin Fields is just an above-average player. He's just an above-average quarterback, just for sake of argument. So he hasn't had a lot of time with the ones. He didn't get a lot of time in preseason. He has a new offensive coordinator. This is like his third offensive coordinator in 3 years or something like that. He's in a new fucking team. He doesn't have a lot of chemistry with the guys who are on this team. And if he gets any playing time, it means he's coming up off the bench. So it would be hard to believe that he's going to be dynamic immediately. And one of the reasons you got him is because if Russ doesn't work out and he works out, if he's just a good player, then you have your quarterback. At the very least, you can go, hey, we're going to tag you. Let's work out a deal. You can operate from there. All of that I just said is hindered by the fact that he's not starting, and he's not starting over a guy who wasn't much better than him, if at all. So, your boy is frustrated. And on top of that, the guy that's not really much better than him, if at all, is Russ, who is just a frustrating player in and of himself in one of, if not the toughest divisions in football. The shit is driving me crazy. And on top
what I do kind of like about that, though, is that, and hopefully it works in Justin's favor, is that the more that people doubt him, including the team, like it isn't like Tomlin doubts him. It's just that I see like they probably picked Russ because of the Super Bowl experience, et cetera, et cetera. But I like that this might drive Justin for when he does come in. He's going to have that hunger. He's going to want to have to prove it all over again that he can do that.
I just wish that they would. I would just like to see him from start to finish get a shot as the quarterback in a situation that's not awful.
Right.
And Pittsburgh is not as great of a spot as it was because of the injuries as it was on paper when he got here. But people forget this. The Chicago had a third-round pick offer for Fields. They thought that they could do better than that. They misread the market. So when it came time to we got to get him out of here because he and Caleb can't be on the same roster, right? That was the de facto, that was kind of the consensus, I should say, view. They sent him to Pittsburgh because that's where he wanted to go. They wanted to do right by him. There's a lot of reports out there that said there was at least a slightly better offer for him than what Pittsburgh had for him. So he wanted to be a Steeler. Unfortunately, I think the Steelers kind of wanted him to be on the roster, but they weren't dead set on him being on the roster. Otherwise, they would have beat that deal. That's coming to fruition. Now, the NFL stands for not for long, or not fair, loser. So there's a certain point where you have to overcome these things. But at the end of the day, I would rather go, damn, Justin wasn't the guy, and he's really just a spot starter or a backup guy, and learn that, than watch a quarterback that I just know isn't like when we ranked him last year, we had him at 16.
Yeah.
But that was a year where there was like 6 missing starters. If you do that exercise now, he's significantly lower.
And if you recall, there was quarterbacks that we had ahead of him that were journeymen that were playing better.
That were playing better than him. And we gave him a bump because we were like, well, if you don't figure in the contract or yada, yada, yada. But the reality of the situation is, I think he's probably still a little bit better than Deshaun Watson, but I can't say that he is. And I know this, he's not a difference maker anymore. For every big play he's going to give you, he's going to make 2 boneheaded plays. So I have Pittsburgh. I cannot tell you with a straight face that I expect Pittsburgh to be even an above average team this season. And I can't say, because their schedule's so brutal, I don't even think it can be something like, well, they'll lose a couple games and then switch the fields and they'll even out. Schedule's too tough for that. Is what it is.
All right. Moving to the AFC South. I'm just going to go ahead and give my list. I'll let you go through and give yours, and we can talk about the team. So the order of first to last, I have Houston winning the division.
Yep.
Jacksonville right behind them with Tennessee and then Indianapolis.
Oh, man, we're going to fight on this one. All right. I got the Texans at 1. I got the Colts at 2. I got Jacks at 3. I got Tennessee at 4. The Texans are a little bit overhyped and overrated. I don't see them as a Super Bowl contending team. I don't like these 13-14 win predictions that a lot of people are giving them.
Really? You weren't impressed with last year?
No, I'm very impressed with last year. But here's what happens. There's more tape on Stroud. Diggs is a malcontent. The defense is good. It's not great. You have guys coming off of injury. And now, honestly, what can really sink teams is you have expectations. If the Texans win 9 games, that's good enough to win the division. They had a bad year. People are expecting minimum 11, 12 wins from them. And that's a hard thing to ask a quarterback. I think Stroud's amazing. I love Tank Dell. I love Neko Collins. I think Diggs is obviously quite good. It's crazy how much money they gave Joe Mixon and how much of that seemed to be guaranteed. But they
Who's the other guy they have though? The other guy they have was actually pretty good.
Oh God,
he was a younger dude.
Let me pull up their Texans depth chart. Yeah, their backup running back is Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce is a pretty good player. He wasn't awful for him.
Yeah, he did pretty well considering
but it's just I think they're battling expectations and they're not going to catch anybody sleeping. Everybody takes them very seriously. And then again, they have the quarterback, they have the weapons, they have the left tackle. So that's a pretty good starting point. I think that they are a solid 11-win team. And I also think that the Colts are going to have a brutal defense, a really strong defense. And here's the thing too, and I'm taking big swings on this. Gardner Minshew got a nice contract from the Raiders because of how, air quotes, good he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's coaching the Colts was the guy who helped transform Hurts into that MVP candidate guy. So now Anthony Richardson, and he might not be good at throwing the ball this year, but I know he's going to run for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. And that's a limit. You can only eat off that for a while before you have to chuck the ball, before you have to be able to figure that out. But you can live off of it for a while. And this is a 1-year projection. I don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, I liked him coming out of college. I think he'll be quite good. But I like the Colts a lot. I can't say the same thing for Jacksonville. They let go of Calvin Ridley, who they overpaid, but I understood at the time. And then they gave Gabriel Davis, who I'm good for 3 games a year. They don't have dynamic weapons. I like their running back ETN, but that's it. They have okay guys at wide receiver. And their defense was a victim last year. Their defense, I mean, when Trevor got hurt and he couldn't make magic happen for them, their defense just laid down and died. I don't see any major additions. I don't see anything that they did.
Nothing major. They do have some half decent dudes, Darby, Flowers, and Edmonds. Yep. I mean, you're not gonna like jerk off to them, but they're serviceable.
No, they're serviceable.
Picked up Armstead.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Josh Allen's still there.
Yep, he's a stud. Underrated defensive player, by the way.
They did pick up DuVernay, he's more like a special teams speedster guy.
They're really banking on that their team was excellent last year and that last year was just a fluke. And you know who does that? Suckers.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, they got a lot to prove this year because last year they were supposed to be better than they were. Yeah. But the reason why I have Indy last is because I still don't have enough faith in Richardson right now. I do kind of like some of his shit.
Yeah.
So he's still that fly in the ointment. So depending on what he does, that's really going to kind of determine the midway point when we revisit.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just swinging because I believe in him and I love that defense.
Oh, well, don't worry. The next division, there's going to be a lot of me swinging.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I will say this. I think Tennessee will be the last place team. Tennessee will not be a pushover this year.
No, I expect them to give a lot of fight.
That's with that head coach. I believe that very much. They signed Calvin Ridley, actually.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at their list here right now.
They did. They gave him
picked up Cushionberry. I didn't think Cushionberry was that bad. I mean, they paid him a lot though.
Yeah.
They still have Murray.
Yeah.
They got L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs.
Yep.
So I mean, they're okay. I mean, who's their running back? Well, they got Tony Pollard. That's a nice sign.
They got Pollard, and then they have
got Boyd.
Spears.
Boyd's in there with Calvin Ridley, so receiving core is much better than it was.
Yeah. Is Hopkins hurt? I thought he was dinged up.
That I don't know, but he is aging, so it's always hard to say how much he's got left. But either way, if he's on the field, he's going to draw doubles.
He was good last year. He was a good player last year.
Yeah.
It's just I just got to be honest. I think that there's so many. I love the Indianapolis coach so much, and they have so many nice pieces around that team.
Then you got Taylor. Taylor's a beast. So if he stays
Taylor
healthy,
is a beast. He is a beast, and you got Pittman. You got some players. So what division are we doing next?
We have the AFC West.
Okay, all right.
So
how about I start on this one?
Go ahead. Sure.
I think
be my guess.
So,
am I going to get mad and punch my screen?
No, probably not. At last place, we have the Raiders. They still suck. I don't know what to tell people. Gardner Minshew is their quarterback. They don't have the same infrastructure around him. Devontae Adams I don't think he's a great wide receiver anymore. I think he's still good. I
think he's good, but I think he was mainly a product of the quarterback throwing on the ball.
I felt bad for him because he had that one game where he should have had I think literally 4 50-yard touchdowns, and Garoppolo overthrew him or underthrew him each time. He's still you know what? I'm being too harsh. I still think he is a top 10 wide receiver in football. I no longer believe he's a top 5.
Well, he's definitely one of the highlights, but then they lost their running back.
Josh Jacobs is gone.
Yeah. But they still got Crosby on defense, so they got
that spoiler alert, he's my pick for DPOY. Yet again, another guy better than last year's DPOY winner. But hey, let's just throw it around. So our special fucking favorite players get to tick a little box for the shitty.
So you have the Raiders last.
Got the Raiders at last, yeah. And then I have Denver. And I will tell you this, Denver is fighting for a wild card. Denver is going to be a 9-win team. Bo Nix, and you can back me up on this. Before he was drafted by Denver, I kept saying Bo Nix is underrated as a first-round quarterback. And a lot of people rebuked that. Now, a lot of people, all of a sudden, now that he's a Bronco, they think he's the truth again. Not you. I know you liked him out of college, too. Good mobility, good athleticism, smart arm is underrated. Height, weight. Are you going to mistake him for Cam Newton or Josh Allen? No. Or Mahomes? No. But you're not going to mistake him for Chad fucking Pennington or Gardner Minshew either.
No.
He's going to be a good quarterback. He's going to be a good player. I don't necessarily like y'all getting rid of Patrick, and that did shock me. But
that shocked me too, actually.
Sutton's a good player. Sutton's a good player. You got some speedsters there. You got some tight ends you like. I like the backfield. The defense is going to be a lot better. Or not a lot better because they turned it around, but the defense is going to be good. They have a soft
it's all
schedule.
depending on Vance Joseph and his scheme. Really, it's going to come down to that.
Yeah. The reality of the situation is Denver is a tough out. I mean, I would be shocked if they're not a tough out. I also think that Peyton is going to be able – with Russ, I think he fought to get Russ to do certain things because Russ wanted to be Mr. Unlimited and play football his way. We saw how well that went. Sean Payton – Bo Nix is not going to be able to argue with Sean Payton about any fucking thing. So he's just going to do what he's told. And doing what Sean Payton tells you to do historically works out well for quarterbacks. Simply, it's just a simple thing. Solid defense, efficient offense, not turning the ball over, good special teams. And Nick's he's gonna have some highlights that are gonna shock you. Is he gonna do some dumb shit? Yeah, he's a rookie quarterback. He's gonna have moments that make you go, why? He's also gonna have moments where you go like, holy shit, this guy can ball. The Chargers are next. I think that I'm a little worried about.
You still fucking touting that goddamn team.
I know.
You can't quit him. You just can't quit him.
I can't quit Justin Herbert.
Although I will say this, he's in the best position ever with Harbaugh at the coaching.
I like their coach a lot. I wish they had more weapons, but here's the reality. Their offensive line is really talented. They have one of the best left tackles in football. They drafted Joe Alt. He's going to be a monster wherever they put him. They're going to run the fucking ball. Their defense was so talented. It was so bad the past 2 years. It didn't make any sense. That defense, I know it's a big swing. That's going to be a top 10 defense in football. If you can run the ball and you have a top 10 defense and your quarterback is good, you have a chance. Now, I struggled with if they're going to be a wild card team or not. I won't spoil that, but that is going to be another 9-win team. Maybe 10. Like with Denver, it's like maybe 10. You get some breaks that go your way. And of course, you have Chiefs. The Chiefs are, we know what they are. They got a lot of speed at wide receiver. They have most of the returning team. Mahomes is there. Taylor Swift is there. Kelsey's there. Andy Reid's there. The band is still together. They are who they are.
Yeah.
And Rashee Rice is gonna be a monster this year. He's not getting suspended this year. He's gonna be suspended next year.
He's not going to drop balls or give interceptions to people.
No, because they had a guy who did that. His name was Kadarius.
Oh, that was actually Kadarius Toney, I think.
Yeah,
did that.
Yeah, and MVS, and basically everybody that wasn't him. And they got Juju back. So, yeah. Now tell me, how wrong am I?
You're not totally wrong. Kansas City is going to finish first. You can't unseat the champions until you actually beat the champions.
Yep.
The only difference between you and I is 2 and 3. And I'm reaching. I'm taking my Broncos to finish second. I'm going for the highest possible. Please, God, make it happen. I have San Diego right behind them,
yes,
but easily could be reversed. I can see your logic easily there. Vegas, I do have them last. Now,
it's so weird that they're Vegas. That will never.
My playoff contenders, and I'll start with my 2 wild cards. At wild card, I have Denver and Jacksonville.
Okay.
Now, my main 2 top teams, 1 and 2.
Who's the third wild card?
Is it 3 now?
There's 3 now, yeah. Because there's only the 1 seed.
Oh, that's right, because the first one doesn't have to play anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So the third one would be Miami.
Okay. Wait, I thought you had them going in the division.
Well, that's true. I didn't really put them in order per se.
Is it Buffalo?
Because I don't even have Buffalo in here. Let me see how I want to do this. Because you got 4 division winners, and they're all guaranteed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you got the 3 wild cards.
So 4, 5, 6. Is it 7 teams that play or 6?
Yep, it's 7.
7?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then I fucked up. I fucked up then. Let me go back and look real quick. It's probably going to be Buffalo. Yeah, it'd have to be Buffalo. So I'd have to have Buffalo as the third wild card.
Okay.
So thank you for pointing that out. I thought it was 6 teams for some reason.
Because it used to be.
Okay, so Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Denver are my wild cards.
Yes, sir.
And then the division winners, of course, Kansas City, Baltimore, Houston, and Miami.
Yes, sir.
So how do you see it unraveling?
I got the Ravens/Bengals. It's going to depend on Chase, right?
Yeah.
So the AFC North team. And then I'm going to take the Chargers and the Colts.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the Ravens because they're just so well coached. It's trendy to pick on Harbaugh. They're so well coached. Their defense is going to be good. Lamar is Lamar. You can't even go, but what about what happens with Andrews? Because we know Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end, is quite good. They got Derrick Henry, who I think the signing is overrated, but I think symbolically means more. You go to the Chargers. They're going to be a whole lot like the Bills. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. They're going to make 60-year-old football fans very happy. They're going to bore the shit out of the rest of us. And then my fucking Colts. Richardson's going to be a fucking handful. The defense has always been good, and it's been respected the past couple of years. But it's so hard to stop a team with a dynamic quarterback. And I think Richardson will be able to throw the ball pretty well, too, if I'm being honest. I really believe in him. But Jonathan Taylor and Pittman, an offensive line that is getting back to form, getting back to being quite good like they were a couple of years ago. It's a tough out. I thought long and hard about the Jets. I thought about Miami. AFC
Well, you
is
look
just
at
brutal.
it's so you got you're right about your logic, because you look at teams like Tennessee, the Jets, the Colts. These are all teams that are feisty. Like, they're in that middle. You don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They could either be really good or really bad.
It can come down
Or
to
maybe the bad's not even their fault. Like, you're just in a tough division and you just can't get over the hump with the other two teams. That's what makes your division so goddamn frustrating for people, because Cleveland is feisty as fuck all the time. They just don't win games.
Yeah.
And so it's like one of those weird things.
But last year they got the luck. I mean, that Bears game went their way. The Niners game went their way. A bunch of games where they probably should have lost went their way. It's hard to get that to happen again. Whereas the Jaguars were they were a possession away from making the postseason. They didn't. That's how the Steelers got it. It's just it's brutal. And if you look at the Colts, like, this is their defense. I like Kwity Paye. DeForest Buckner's good. Zaire Franklin's good. Juju Brents is good. Jalen Jones and Kenny Moore. Like, that's a tough defense. That's a real tough defense. And you look at offense. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell. There's some talent there. Downs, he was a rookie last year. He caught 68 balls, almost 800 yards. That's nothing to sneeze at. They're just a complete team. And again, a lot of it is a projection base, but every year you have teams that you don't think are going to make it that come out of nowhere, and you have it's easy with the Bengals.
We did not see Houston doing what they did last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to do that with the Bengals because they're Super Bowl contender. They just kind of got screwed by injuries. But last year, nobody really saw several teams make it in. Green Bay. You know what I mean? We thought they were dead to rights for a while.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Early in the season, I said these guys are shit, and fucking you were wrong as fuck.
Well, it was just like, and I joked about they were my wild card pick. They were a wild card pick, and at first I was like, yeah, that looks great. And then halfway through the season, I'm like, oh, I was a year ahead. And at the end, I was like, yeah, they're awesome. And I was like, but they're going to lose to the Cowboys. And I was like, oh, God, I'm wrong. Like, it was
that game is one of the most impressive things I ever saw. Like, they
or
depressive. Love, like, reaped them an asshole, dude. Like, it was so fucking ridiculous.
Oh, my. It was. And how wide open we were memeing that for a week about how wide open some of their wideouts were.
It's like one of those things, like, even if you'd pick Dallas, you just laugh so hard at their failure to get even a home game. Like, they've lost so many home games in the playoffs.
It's they underachieved so bad. Also, I know this is not a college segment, but FSU lost again, and I just want to bring that out. That they lost to Georgia Tech. Yeah, last week.
Oh, I saw that. Who else did they lose to?
Not again. I just meant like they lost again, like
this year again. Okay, opening the season. Yeah, I saw that. I laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
All they talked, and then they lose to Georgia Tech. So I don't want to hear anything from FSU fans if they miss the playoffs again, because that shit.
Anytime FSU fails, I celebrate.
Yeah,
same with Nebraska.
They've just because FSU. I didn't used to have an opinion on them, but the way they whined and cried so much, it's funny.
Because they played Georgia, right?
Georgia Tech. So they can't beat Georgia.
No, in the bowl game,
63-3.
They got rolled hard.
63-3.
Yeah,
we didn't send our best players. You should never lose 63-3 to anybody.
We didn't send our best players. You probably should have just showed up at all then, because you
didn't. Oh, I'd hate to see your fucking worst. But anyway, fuck them. Their tears heal me. That's where I'm saying. Yeah, the NFC East. Okay, so I have to pick the Cowboys. I want to pick the Eagles. The problem is, it's hard for me to pick the Eagles to win that division when the head coach and the quarterback hate one another. So the Cowboys, they're going to have a motivated Dak because they don't want to pay him. CeeDee Lamb just got paid. Parsons wants to get paid. So they have guys with different motivations, but they should be balling out pretty hard. Last year, their defense overachieved because they really crushed some bad teams. They scored a lot of touchdowns. The defense did.
Yeah.
They're going to be a 10-11 win team. And it's hard to get excited about them. I don't want to hear a fucking thing about them being Super Bowl contenders. I don't want to hear Super Bowl in Dallas in the same sentence unless it was. It's been a long time since Dallas has won a Super Bowl. Anything other than that, I don't want to hear it. I got Philadelphia at 2. They should be really awesome. Their head coach is bad. This is going to be his last year in Philly. The Commanders, man, Daniels is going to be a fun watch. And the Giants' best hope at quarterback is Drew Lock, so they're cooked. I'm sorry, Malik Neighbors. Your rookie year will begin next season. That's how I view the division. It is the least interesting division in football to me, with some of the most annoying fans.
All right. I'll start from the bottom this time. Giants will finish last.
Yep.
But I agree. And there's a funny part is I would love to see Drew play because I do kind of still like the kid. And I just want to see what he can do in a new environment. Now, he didn't get his chance in Seattle very much because Geno's playing pretty well there. But
he had that big comeback, though. That was kind of nice for him.
I mean, I just want to see, can he kind of become something out of nothing, basically?
Can he be the next Geno Smith?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Just for fun, just to see, because the Giants have nothing. They're going nowhere.
They have Daniel Jones, which means they have less than nothing. They have expensive nothing, actually.
Yeah. Then I have Washington. They're another team that I find some interest in just because it's more like they're still rebuilding, but now they don't even believe in Sam Howell anymore. So it's like, what are you doing?
I don't even think he's on their team anymore. I think they traded him.
No, he's not. I think he's actually in Seattle, I think. Then I have Dallas.
Okay.
Again, I kind of agree with you. This could go either way with these top 2 teams because that's how they kind of fought it out last year to the last minute.
Philly has the better roster. I'd swear to you.
Yeah, and that's really why I'm kind of giving him the edge. I mean, Barkley, he's going to be a beast. He's going to be motivated. You got AJ Brown. You've got Devontae Smith. They picked up our guy, tight end Okawambanum, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yep.
Let's see. Devin White, who I love to death. He's now playing on linebacker for them. And then, like, the reason why they're going to win, dude, is because halfway through the season when they realize that what's-his-face isn't going to cut it, my savior, your former quarterback, Kenny Pickett, will come in and take them to the promised land.
He almost got cut. He was so bad in preseason, I want you to know.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. No, I don't know. I like Kenny still, but yeah, he blew his chance hardcore.
He did
not do that. You just can't do that in the NFL. You can't
do it well last year.
No.
And I defended him when he was told, hey, we're going to get a veteran and have a competition, but they really liked Russ, and so they said you're the backup. And then there's dueling reports, but the consensus is he didn't handle it very well, and we got a 3rd rounder for him. So I don't know how that happened, but I was quite happy. The Eagles, if you told me that Philadelphia had a real coach, I would pick them.
You just think he's going to misuse the talent that's there.
Here's the thing. Real head coaches, there's too much Josh McDaniels in them. He likes to scream at the fans. He likes to be part of the pomp and circumstance. When he was hired, a lot of people thought that he was hired too soon, that he hadn't mastered the offensive side of the ball yet. He didn't find a good offensive coordinator replacement, for the stud that they lost, who's now coaching in Indy. And so the offense took such a big step back. They couldn't do such basic things. And that's with one of the best centers ever who's calling plays. Now, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy, or calling coverages, I should say. But on top of that, on top of the new coordinator and the mojo and those two trying to patch it up between the two of them, you have Hurts, who's for the first time, because they have a rookie or a second-year center, I think it's a rookie. For the first time, he's going to have to read the defense. So he has this huge new responsibility on him on top of all of that stuff. I'm not saying that Hurts isn't going to still be a good quarterback, but I just got to be honest. There's a world in which Jalen Hurts is a disappointment this year, and they might be looking for a new quarterback.
No, you might be right, because I think one of the criticisms last year, following that 2 years ago, he looked amazing.
Yeah.
But I think one of the criticisms was that he was almost like a one-read guy, and that's something you can't get away with in the NFL.
And he didn't, and I hate to say this, but 2 years ago, he was probably going to win the MVP, and then he got hurt, and then got edged out. It happens. Last year, he was able to play through the injuries, and his play it's always been a little up and down, and you can deal with that, but it dropped off a cliff. Now, some of those games that they lost towards the end, I would argue, I think pretty persuasively, it wasn't him. But the problem is that he's the guy now. He has to be able to
definitely build their momentum, though. That's for sure.
Oh, that Tampa game was horrible. And I'm so lucky that when I saw, because we did our episode just before that game started. I saw Brown was out, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick the Bucks because I think it's going to be close. That saved me because it was not close. It was a beating. But thank God I didn't pick the Eagles because that was embarrassing. I swear, there's just a lot. If they don't have a good season, Hurts will probably still be there, at least just because the contract is pretty punitive. They will get a new head coach. They almost fired the head coach last year, Sirianni. So,
yeah.
Again, if you told me that Bill Belichick was their head coach, who I thought they were going to go get, I would have picked them to win the division. But it is what it is. It's going to be an interesting division. No, it's not. Actually,
Whatever
it's not
happened to
interesting.
even though I thought it was kind of funny, what happened to the rumors about Brady going to Las Vegas?
Well, he's going to be a team owner now, so he's not doing it.
I figured so, but it's like, it's kind of funny he was even entertaining the idea. He's like, I'm in shape. I'm ready to go.
No,
like,
come to Pittsburgh. Tom, if you come to Pittsburgh, you're the GOAT. I'll throw out everything I said about Mahomes. I don't care. You're the GOAT.
You know how much shit you would take in the fucking Discord?
I don't. You know how much of a fuck I don't give? You know how much I don't want to see Russell Wilson fucking quarterback my team? You know how much I want to see a coherent offense?
All right, so I'm going to do the NFC North first.
All right.
My number one dog in this is the Green Bay Packers. I am a Jordan Love fan now. I never thought I heard myself say that, but yeah, I believe in him.
Fun story.
Yeah, he is a very good story. And I think they are looking to capitalize on that run. Like, I don't think they want to go down as a team that kind of just had like a lightning in a bottle type of effect.
They went out and they got Josh Jacobs. They kept the core intact. They have so many wide receivers. Yeah. It's a well-constructed offense.
My surprise pick here would be Chicago finishing second. I think they're going to be a little better than people think.
Yeah.
Then I have Detroit. I think they were a team that kind of caught lightning in the bottle. I think they're not going to repeat that effort. Mm-hmm. And then I have the Vikings, who
are cursed.
Unfortunately lost their guy in the preseason.
They're cursed.
Which, that really changed the whole dynamic for that team, man. Like, it's just done.
Okay, it's not a secret. You love Vikings, right?
Well, I don't love them, but I love Jefferson. There's no
No. I mean, but like not the Minnesota Vikings, no, Vikings. The
yeah.
I think you should hate the Minnesota Vikings. Historically, the actual Vikings, they won way more battles than they lost. These Vikings, they don't win shit except the ticket to the playoffs occasionally to break their team's heart. So yeah, I'm just I got them last, brother. I think that they're cooked. Thank God Justin Jefferson got paid. Otherwise, he was just going to be miserable. Hawkinson is coming off that injury.
Yeah,
and you're a Jefferson guy, so I know you're feeling for him.
Yeah, I am. Like that's one dude I wish I could have stole away from them. Like, it would have been amazing.
And so my third place team is the Bears. I will give a spoiler. They're going to make the wild card. I'll give you another spoiler. They're going to win a playoff game. They're going to upset somebody. Yeah, I know.
Fucking Michael Vick Atlanta style. Yeah.
You know me. I'm a big Caleb guy. I have the Lions are going to take a big step back. Their defense was better than what we thought it was last year. It still wasn't close to being good. They haven't done anything to make it better. I know I've been vindicated as a Jared Goff truther. I've been vindicated as a Jared Goff truther, not trooper. I ain't trooping for shit.
Trooper.
But it's how long can an offensive line keep one man clean? And they got Gibbs, who I liked. I didn't like as much as the gentleman in Atlanta.
Robinson, yeah.
But Behan Robinson.
Oh, Behan, excuse me.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I could see him. By the way, draft him for fantasy, folks. He's going to be real fucking good because he's going to actually get the ball. But the problem that the Lions have is they haven't their defense. Sure, let's say it's 10% better. Still not great defense. and their offense is good. They got 2 good running backs. They got the line. They have a wide receiver. Now, who's the second wide receiver? Who's the third wide receiver? They have Laporta. He's coming off of injury. So it's not that offense isn't stacked, but it is a little lopsided.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between being an 11-win team, which I think the Lions are, and being a 13-win team, which I think the Packers are. So, I mean, the Lions are, I will say this, I'm not trying to downplay them. They're going to be one of those teams, I call it the AFC North special. You get second in your division, you look around, you go, I would have won almost every other fucking division. What the fuck is this bullshit? However, they are going to bomb. My prediction is they will bomb in the playoffs, and they're going to have a real tough come to Jesus moment. And the Packers at 1. I'm high on the Packers. I don't view them as a Super Bowl contending team. I think their defense is a little rough. I think their secondary is a little rough. But they have a million wide receivers. I'm a big Christian Watson guy, big Romeo guy. I like Jordan.
I will say this, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually make the NFC Championship game. I wouldn't really be surprised.
That wouldn't be a shocker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I almost put the Bears second because I remove quarterback for a second. Odunze, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen, and Swift. That is a lot of really good players to cover.
Oh God, yeah.
And there's a lot. Like I know Keenan Allen isn't very fast. He never has been. But Swift is.
He's pretty good as a possession guy.
And the routes he runs are
has
great.
got speed.
Moore has speed. They have so much speed. And they have a defense that's going to get after the quarterback, and that is a brutal combination. And it's just I also think Caleb Williams is special, and I think he's going to have a really good rookie year. It's going to be up and down, but I think he's going to be a good player immediately.
He seems like I was pretty impressed with his preseason stuff because it's much like Bo Nix. He's reading defenses. He's calm. He doesn't panic. He uses his head, and you can't really teach that. It's got to be there. And so, even though I kind of went into the draft thinking I don't know if I really believe in him or not, but he looks like he's going to be good.
He's hit some. He also has that. Oh my God! I can't believe he just did that factor.
Yeah,
and it's look. Elway did that shit. Cam Newton did that shit.
Did you see that? I didn't even get to talk to you about that. Yeah, I think Caleb had one of these plays too, but Mahomes, that fucking back behind the
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? This guy is not human. What the fuck is going on here?
He threw it because he was mad at Kelsey because Kelsey ran the wrong route.
I'm like, you can't make that shit up. Like that's really incredible shit.
It's just some people are just blessed physically with talent, and it just is what it is. Now, Caleb's
as much as I hate the Chiefs, I cannot hate that dude at all.
You're just like, why couldn't you be in the NFC? If you just played in the NFC South,
if you had just gone to another team and allowed the Chiefs to be complete misery for the rest of their fucking miserable lives, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, if only he was a Steeler. Yeah, I agree.
Bronco, I'd wish. If I could reverse the history, do you know how pissed off the Chiefs would be to have to deal with another guy like that?
to go from Peyton Manning to Patrick Mahomes, that'd be pretty fucking brutal for them. Just sitting there going, damn, we're just gonna fucking lose 2 games of them every fucking year, maybe 3.
They'd probably just say, "Can we just leave the AFC West? Is that okay?"
Yeah, can we play in the NFC West? Because you send the Cardinals over here. Can we swap? We'll play the Niners. Fuck it. We'll play the Niners. We're just tired of this shit.
All right. You start the NFC South. What do you got?
Oh, this division. This division is usually ass, but this year it will not be as ass. So I have the Falcons winning it. Drake London's going to – I love that guy. Bijan Robinson, I've waxed poetically about him. Kyle Pitts will finally have justice. Kirk Cousins, the truth, the most underrated quarterback in the history of the league, will have his day. They'll win it. The Bucs are a slightly above average team, and they're tough out. There's really nothing more to say about them. I'll be interested to see if they can run the ball this year as well as they did last year. The Saints, once again, they'll have a good defense. Once again, it won't matter. God, I used to think Derek Carr. I owe you this. You were right about Derek Carr, and I wasn't. I thought he was a much better player than he was. And if he was close to what I thought he was, they would have been a lot better last year. He's now just a very mediocre quarterback. And the Panthers are just where quarterbacks go to die and be sad. And poor Bryce Young. So I don't have a whole lot to say there other than the Falcons are going to be a fun watch. Also, their defense be pretty good this year. They got your
Which
boy
one is
Simmons.
that? The Panthers?
No, their defense is not going to be terrible. They're actually sneaky good last year. No, the Falcons, because they got Simmons.
Falcons, okay,
yeah. Their defense wasn't bad last year.
So I have from the bottom on way up, I have Saints last. And
I love it.
I didn't have the Carolina Panthers. The sad thing is Bryce is a nice kid, but he's battling a team that's just hard finding an identity, and so it's like really tough over there right now.
They got him Deontay Johnson, but is Thielen going to be good again? They got Owens, but he's not playing for the first 4 weeks. Brooks, not Owens, Jonathan Brooks.
Then I have, I'm kind of surprised at my pick here, but I don't know. It's one of these unknowns. I had the Falcons second.
Okay.
Mainly because I don't know how Cousins is going to respond to the injury.
That's very fair.
But they do have pieces in place. So it's not like they're going to be a scrub. Like even if Cousins doesn't play, I think they'd still be okay.
Yeah.
And then I had Tampa Bay repeating. I mean, it wasn't this a division where everyone was like almost 500 the entire time?
Except the Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I see another kind of battle kind of going on in there, but this will be a little bit different because I think Atlanta and Tampa Bay are going to kind of separate themselves a lot easier this year. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
So that leads us to the last division, the NFC West. And you are going to probably be shocked, because my top team to win the division will be the Arizona fucking Cardinals.
Wait, what? Oh, I thought you were gonna, because I like the Rams. Holy fuck, that's go ahead.
You won't be totally disappointed. I had the Niners second.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you this: Purdy did not look good in preseason, and there's something going on there, and I don't know what it is, but
it's the lack of Ayuk and lack of Trent Williams. That's
probably more camera work and everything and video on him. So he better figure it out, because the other teams in that division are hungry. I got the Rams third.
Yeah.
And I do have the Rams as the last playoff team, just to put that out there.
Yeah.
As a wild card. So, and then I have Seattle last. Now, Seattle, again, flying away, man. Gino has done better. But he also shows you that his limitations when it comes to push.
He took a step back last year. Yeah.
So what do you have for your ranking in there?
I got the Niners first. I'm operating on the fact that Ayuk has to show up and play. Otherwise, he's going to go the Le'Veon Bell route, and that is not a very successful route. Trent Williams doesn't have to show up and fucking play. He's mad because the last year of his deal isn't guaranteed, and they're going to be in cap hell, and he's the easiest guy to get rid of. So, and he likes it there, and he wants them to pay him. So I'm operating under the presumption that they're going to get something worked out with Trent, just guarantee his money, even though that's going to hurt in the long run, and Ayuk will show up and play and will at least be decent. So I don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year, because he's going to be rusty as fuck. So I have the Niners edging out that division, and that's presuming they got all the health luck that they could really hope for last season. So I'm not – Kittle's injury prone. Debo's been banged up before. Ayuk's had injuries before. Trent Williams has been injured before, and he's older, and he's missed camp. McCaffrey, we all know what his injury history is.
And then they lost Ken Law and some other guys. So it's like, it's hard to keep those pieces in place. Like last year was like their grand hurrah that they should have finished and didn't. Kansas City showed them what it's all about.
Well, the reason why they're playing such hardball with Ayuk is because they can get most of the band back together for one last run. But Lynch looks so desperate, saying at some point you got to play. Well, here's the thing. At some point, you got to pay. And they traded for McCaffrey, then they paid him, then they redid his deal. So Ayuk is sitting there going, I know this is my last year here unless you give me a deal.
Show me the money.
Yeah, he's like, if you don't pay me now, you're never going to pay me. So why should I play for you? And I don't necessarily like some of the things he's done, but it's not an unfair position. Also, they could have paid him last year, and they chose not to. They could have paid him the year before, but he wasn't quite, up to snuff. And so they Dallas Cowboyed themselves. I'm not sympathetic to. I think Ayuk's kind of been a jerk about it, and I think that John Lynch is an overrated general manager. And
I think what happens is, and I've kind of softened my stance because Lamar did this last year.
Yeah,
where he kind of got these guys, but I understand that they're a little bit sour. It's like they're a little bit bitter because they feel like really, it's kind of funny because the way I look back now, Lamar really got fucked in so many ways because the Baltimore Ravens are basically hanging him out there, and nobody was biting, no trade offers, nothing. So then all the bad press came in, and when that happened, it's like, fuck, man, they're just dogpiling this kid, and then all of a sudden they do give him the money. And he goes out and does his job.
MVP season.
Now, granted, they should have fucking beat the fucking ass off the Chiefs, but that's a whole different story. But either way, I understand why Ayuk's a little pissed. It just makes sense.
Especially because he just had an all-pro season, and he's like, you're not paying Brock Purdy. You're paying him $800,000, which is a lot of money to you and I, but that's nothing in the NFL. So you're not paying him. And next year they have 7 or 8 guys who are getting paid $20 million or more. And he's like, I'm better than some of them. And some of those guys are on the defense and they're names that most fans wouldn't fucking know. And he's looking around going, it's 2024 and you've given the running back 2 deals.
Meanwhile,
interesting.
Granted, Justin Jefferson's way better than him, but still when you're seeing what's going on around the league.
Yeah. 100%. And then it's fucking him too on the other end because the Patriots offered him $32 million. He said, no, I'm not going to be a fucking Patriot. And then the Browns offered him it was reported $30 million. He was like, no, I'm not trying to play with Deshaun Watson. He wanted to be a Steeler because he likes Mike Tomlin, but the Steelers knew that. And so they said, we'll pay you 28. So they don't have to offer him a ton of money because of the situation that he has in San Francisco. And San Francisco wants him to show up and be a good soldier. And they're banking on the fact that he won't get his $14 million if he doesn't play. So he feels like he's getting screwed. And if you want to comp it to the Lamar thing, the other thing with the Lamar thing was everybody made fun of him because he was his own agent. But nobody was talking shit about that when he got that deal signed. And ironically, the deal that he signed was the one that you and I loosely came up with. Okay, you meet in the middle here. You got to give him some guaranteed money, especially since you shit on him. They kept leaking all those bad things and statements about him. And then they put him on the transition tag. And so for Ayuk, he's just sitting there going, no one wants to say this in the building, but everybody knows today I'm better than Debo is. And I'm a better deep threat than Debo is. And everybody knows that I'm a good enough player that even though the line's not great, sans Trent Williams, I still get open deep and I still make the plays. So at the end of the day, I'm really banking on some contract shit coming out here. And if you tell me that Ayuk isn't playing or Trent isn't playing, I'm taking the Rams ahead of them. If you tell me neither of them are playing, then I know that they're not fighting for first in the division. They're fighting for second. So I got the Niners there. I got the Rams there. Their big question is Stafford going to be able to stay healthy? Is Nakua going to be healthy? Arizona, I have at 3rd. I think they're going to be a 7-win team. I think Murray's going to be comeback player of the year. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a good rookie year. And Seattle is just waiting.
They're still trying to find an identity as well.
They're just waiting for the quarterback because the rest of the fact that Seattle is going to be last in that division should say how strong that division is. Yeah.
So my wild cards going into this, and of course, by the time we get to midseason.
Oh shit! Real quick, Pearsall, the rookie wide receiver that they drafted, which kind of also signaled they're done with Ayuk, is hurt. So they're
God.
They're really feeling it, man.
So yeah, okay. So my wild cards are as follows: the Rams, the Falcons, and the Niners. So then my division winners, of course, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and Arizona.
Okay. Let me double check. I have the Bears, the Lions, and the Rams.
Those are your wild cards?
Yeah, that's my wild card. The Bears, I think they'll sneak in as the last wild card. And I think
I'd actually like to see that. So even if, the Rams or even, I don't know, even if Arizona doesn't make it, I'd love to see the Bears get in. That'd be fun.
So what I'm thinking is they'll play the 2 seed, which could very well be a team like the Niners on their last legs, or a team like the Cowboys or the Eagles where they have some shit going on. And I think that's the type of team that the Bears upset.
Yeah.
And then the Lions, they're a really good team. They just happen to be playing in the division that might be the NFC North might be the best division in football this year. It's going to be one of the best ones. And the Rams are just a fucking really good team. Love my Rams. Love Stafford.
See, that's funny because I love your backup, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. The 37-year-old college sophomore.
The one that Jaden hates so hard.
He hates the fuck out of us. Shout out to Jaded. Shout out to brother Jaded.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I think a lot of this is going to change. I mean, I know I'm kind of like projecting a lot of different things, what I'm seeing, but until the midway season, it's hard to say what's going to happen. Or even if we do a show in between, we're going to see a lot of changes, I'm sure, within the first 5 weeks.
Oh man, do you think Missy is going to because she wrote on us so hard for downplaying Detroit last year.
I think she was going to go with them again this year.
I need her to make her Missy. I know you're going to see this. I need you to make your picks and publish them.
Hold on, I'm gonna get her ass down here right now. Let me just call her because maybe that'll work. Where is it? There it is. Okay, this would be fun.
You're calling me?
Yeah. So Edgar Allan Poet here has a request. We both kind of do. So right now you're on the hot seat. Who is your pick from both conferences to make the Super Bowl, and who's your pick to win?
Oh God, I don't know. I really haven't been thinking about it.
I thought you said Detroit might be your go-to again.
Well, the problem is Detroit is being Detroit. There's been like 100 injuries in preseason, and now I'm starting to feel like, I love them and I love my NFC people, but like Detroit is just turning into Detroit already in preseason. So like I don't think their recovery plan is in action yet. Now granted, it's August, right? Like we don't know yet. But when we talked about this last year, Detroit looked a lot different in preseason. They looked hopeful, right? They looked like, man, these guys have so much fire in them, and
they look different to you. Mr. Poe and I were laughing at them the entire time because we did not see them doing any of that.
Yeah, she moonwalked.
Well, let's be real. He still owes you like a
bikini dance. Absolutely, that is lies and slander. We have the video of that. We don't have to make this shit up.
You know how my schedule's been. I really haven't thought about it like a lot.
All right. Let's do this. Let's do it. Okay, so let's kind of keep it simple. So let's go off the division winner. So the most likely will be, and I'll even use some of Poet. So we'll have Kansas City, Baltimore. I'll say Houston and then Buffalo because I think you had Buffalo winning the division.
Well, like last year when Kansas City played Baltimore, like Baltimore should have won. Like they were the better team. We saw that, and they just fucking imploded during the playoffs.
At home, no less. They usually don't even lose at home. That's what's fucking funny.
No, like how many times have we gone to a Baltimore Ravens Broncos game? The only time we've seen the Broncos beat the Ravens at home is when they had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
That is the only time, and we've seen so many games because it's just something like with the Ravens, they've really had people's numbers when they're at home. It's an intimidating stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. It's loud. I mean, you saw how many fucking stories we had to walk up to watch the Broncos that one time. So
nothing will ever beat when we went to see the Broncos when Kyle Orton was still playing, and we were still waiting at the refreshment stand when Orton got sacked on the first play, and I was like, "Oh, yay! We're starting out great."
We have a chance, then we still lost.
Well, we got our ass kicked.
It's just insane. Like, and we were so excited too because we ran down to the field and we're like, Peyton.
Well, that game was a lot different. There was a lot of Ravens fans leaving early. I'm like, "Where are you guys going? This is a party! Come on!"
Yeah.
The Broncos were kicking some ass. So we're talking Kansas City and Baltimore. Like, I still think Baltimore is a much better team than Kansas City. Like, I honestly think Kansas City, I don't think they're falling off the rails, but I think, Baltimore overall, they are just stronger. They're deeper.
You think they're due? You think they're due?
I do.
Okay.
I feel like Baltimore is putting things together better than Kansas City, but then Kansas City has their key players, and somehow they always pull it off.
All right, well, let's go to the NFC. So we'll say Baltimore. We'll go with that.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that. So let's go. I'll take two of my top two, which is Philadelphia and Green Bay. And who was the other two that you had? You had San Fran, and who else on yours, Poet?
I had the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Niners.
I had the Falcons, and who was the other one?
Cowboys.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, dirty. Well, remember they got Kirk Cousins now.
That's who's gonna win.
That's who you got. You got the Falcons.
That's right.
You brought that big man over there, big smile on his face.
I love Kirk. I love Kirk.
You know how I feel about Kirk Cousins. Like, look at what he's done in the last couple of years, and he just seems, again, minus all his wonderful contract negotiations, he is really.
He sleeps with everybody.
He's so good.
Listen, all you young people in football, if you want to learn from Kirk.
When he retires, he's going to be an accountant, and he's going to fucking
get his.
He's going to be like the Joker in the
Dark Knight.
And he fucking lights a pile of money on fire because he's just very savvy, but he's also. He does well when he needs to. Just think about how with the Vikings, they were just it was cheering him on, woo, 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 it's my man. And remember when they were on the plane and he was dancing and everything.
With the chain,
he's kind of dorky, but he kind of really, really gets his team around him, and that's really important, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got a good team too. They're solid. So okay, so you have the Falcons versus the Ravens with the Falcons winning. I got that correct because I'm marking that down. And I'm okay with it because last year you picked Detroit to go far. I mean, they almost got there. But
I honestly think the Ravens. So I think it's going to be dependent on for the Ravens to get where they need. Well, no, because they fucked up last year with home field. I was just gonna say the Ravens. Sometimes I think when they have to travel, they're not as good as when they have home field. But they fucked up last year with home field. So I want in my heart I want the Falcons.
Okay.
The Dirty Birds. I mean, they have. What have they done? When?
Well, last time they were in the Super Bowl, it was against the Broncos, I think, and we beat their ass. But...
Yeah, what was that, 1999?
Yeah. 98.
No, it was 99.
Oh, wait, no, the last time was the Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Patriots. They choked that game away, too.
28-3.
Well, maybe I should go with the Broncos, because...
Well, don't jinx us. No. I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, just call the Steelers or something. Do that.
No, the Browns.
They got Russ. The Russ bus. They got Russ.
Oh, I hate that bus.
You know what though? I hate that his career is kind of coming off the rails right now
He
because
did it to himself, Missy.
Good dude.
Missy, he did it to himself.
She did it. She fucking did it.
She did it? Oh.
Do you know the fucking story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did it.
She
everything that happened to us in Denver was because of her.
Damn.
For you watching this video, some years ago when Russ was in fucking Seattle still.
Yeah, it was during the Super Bowl. Remember?
Did he hurt his leg?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was during that. But
no,
he got hurt, and so I hope he broke his. Go ahead.
I got so pissed off because they were beating us, and I said, I hope he breaks his leg, Theismann style.
The following year, yeah. Mm-hmm. So ever since then, we got him, and I'm like, okay, we're in good position. We got Russ; he's a Super Bowl winner, and look what happened. That's what it is.
Oh, breaking news! The Niners just paid Ayuk $120 million extension.
Well, you got him.
What happened? The Niners what?
Signed their receiver, Ayuk.
And that happened
he was holding out. They were kind of nickel and diming him a little bit.
That happened at 6. That happened at 7 o'clock. So, all right. Yeah. Now I'm picking the Niners much more comfortably to win that division. Unfortunately.
So I mean, I don't know if I feel like my Dirty Birds prediction is as strong as my Lions prediction last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love that Cousins is there. But again,
I'm kind of pulling for you to go with it.
I still have that soft spot for the Lions because I just love them.
I mean, if I had to choose myself, if the Falcons actually got there and they're facing the Ravens or the Chiefs, I'm going Falcons all day.
Yeah.
Just because of your hatred, or?
Well, definitely because of hatred of the Chiefs. Now, look, I've softened my stance on Baltimore a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
I think you and I both agree on this. You know, since I am from Baltimore, we live in Baltimore. The fans make Baltimore more annoying than the Ravens themselves do.
True,
right?
true.
Like they are talented players, but then you've got all these weird towny people dressing up in purple camo, like
what's wrong with purple?
The altar of Lamar, like it's so weird. And before that, it was Ray. It's like, oh,
who doesn't love a good murderer?
Insane. Like for the Ravens.
Wait, were you referring to Lewis or Ray Rice? Which one?
Yeah, those are some bad Rays.
Yeah.
Well, one's a murderer and one's a wife beater.
Wife beater, yeah.
I didn't say that.
Allegedly.
No,
well, we know he punched his wife out. We saw that.
Yeah, no, they did that shit. Like, what you can prove versus what you know are different, but they did that shit. All right.
It's just, I think you and I have both agreed that it's not really the Ravens' fault that their fans are annoying. Right.
I mean, every fan base has their people.
Yeah, a lot of people hate the Bronco fans.
Notorious for having very bad fans.
Well, they have a jail underneath their stadium.
They get crazy. They get mean. Like that's why there's a jail at the fucking
Yeah. Because they're shitty fucking people. Philadelphia. Y'all are passionate fans. I will give you that.
Yeah, I mean, like, but
y'all suck.
You gotta realize I'm from Baltimore. It's not.
It's not much better here. So, all right. Well, you gotta lock me in. What are we doing? I'm gonna put it on because I'm saving it. So.
Oh, you're saving it just like last year. I haven't had enough time to think about.
Okay, well that's fair. That's fair. I'll just put it in soft right now because we are gonna get together about midway through the season and reevaluate things. So we haven't actually done our Super Bowl pick, so I'll give you a break. We'll just put that as a soft Falcons, and then we'll revisit it in like 8 weeks.
Yeah,
all right. Fair. I guess we can revisit it. You know, my hope is clearly Sean Payton does something in the Broncos. You know, believe in Bo.
Well, good news is fucking beautiful over here actually got us to go a wild card. I actually have us going into playoffs as a wild card, but I have us finishing behind the Chiefs. So I'm pushing for the good mojo, but we'll see how it goes.
I feel like, though, the Chiefs are losing their mojo and the Broncos are gaining mojo.
I'm not, until I see it firsthand, I'm not doubting that team ever. Because the only fucking anti-mojo I had for them was Tom Brady, and he's gone. I can't do it anymore.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's the chief mojo breaker.
Yeah.
So, and I for our conference too, like the Raiders, they were holding their own too for a minute last year.
Well, they're feisty, but they've actually lost some shit this year, so I expect them to drop hard.
Well, let's hope they're in last.
But we do have Harbaugh in San Diego, so that's going to be tough. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tough division.
So
now.
You know what? I would be tickled if the Dirty Birds won a Super Bowl. Have they ever?
No.
Oh, put them down. Let them win a Super Bowl just one time.
Why can't the Steelers win a Super
depends
Bowl?
on who they're playing. Because if Denver's there, I'm not picking them to win.
Neither. But let's just pretend it's like Baltimore, and then yes, we want the Dirty Birds to win because it's Dirty Birds versus Dirty Birds.
Right.
It's the Bird Bowl.
The Bird Bowl. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. That's great. We'll got that on record, and we'll revisit it.
Oh my God, I can't
Bye,
believe you called
Missy.
me.
Hey, he wanted to get your pick, so we had to do it. Now you have to tell him he still has to do he needs to honor that bet.
I didn't. There was no bet. You just said no. There wasn't. There was no.
Pull the tape from last year.
Yes, please pull the tape.
Making fun of me when I said I feel like the Lions.
I did.
He made a comment later. He's like, if the Detroit Lions make the playoffs, I will get into
it was the
G-string and mow your fucking lawn. And that's like we said.
If it was anything, it was Super Bowl. If it was anything, pull the footage.
I'm like, no, I feel it. Like, I don't feel it this year. Like, I'm seeing the Lions. Like,
Missy, I was laughing with you, not at.
Oh, I actually had them finishing third. So yeah, I don't see them repeating that lightning in the bottle. So certainly.
You know what? They might, and I hope they do because I really, really like that.
That's only because you like fucking Gosling as their quarterback.
I do like him. I think he is an amazing quarterback. Like,
so does he.
I think he's good.
I just think like it's like what's his face who he was stuck there.
Stafford.
No, what's his face?
Sanders.
Yes, thank you, Sanders.
Or Calvin Johnson.
He was like, "Fuck me, I'm at the
Calvin
Detroit,
Johnson
I can't
too.
go
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't want that to happen to Gosling Jr., but like
they paid.
Actually, the change was actually good for him because he was kind of running into problems in LA. So
they didn't believe in him in LA anymore.
Stronger in Detroit. Maybe it's hardened him, but he's got like a really hot wife now. So
he's a gorgeous man.
Can't be mad about that. Well, I think Stafford does too. So they're not. No one's hurting there.
Yeah. Yeah, it pays to be the quarterback.
I'm really happy to be part of your show as a guest. Feel free to call me anytime for your football information.
Yeah, it's like doing like a helicopter call for news.
I'm doing color commentary.
Get to the chopper.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Love you too.
Bye, friend.
Bye. So yeah, we now have new video. We've got you on record that you owe the bet, so we will get that sorted.
Replay the footage. I said if I said anything, I said Super Bowl, not fucking play.
You know how much shit I have to go back to find that?
I don't fucking care. I'm not doing no whatever the fuck it was. I know
like,
it wasn't
I don't
good.
care what it takes. You got to find the footage.
Until the films have been played, I do not obey. All right, I'm not doing all that. Till the film has not been shown, I'm fucking going. You're a Colorado, you're a CU fan, right?
Buffaloes? Well, I'm Virginia, but I do like
them
subconsciously root for the Buffs. Yeah,
they're playing right now. They're playing North Dakota State.
Are they?
Points. Yeah, it's
that must be driving Mo crazy because he's a South Dakota guy, isn't he? Or North Dakota guy?
I think he's a Buff fan. No, that was Timmy. I think that's Timmy's North Dakota.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought for some reason that Mo was, but is there a score yet?
It is. There's like 6 minutes left in the first half. It's 17-14, North Dakota.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So Dion better get on the ball, or he's going to be more mad about losing.
He will be sad.
Are they even ranked this year or no?
They're not ranked right now.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So we're not gonna have a super long one tonight, but that gets us kind of kicked off for what we're looking at for 2024.
Yeah.
We may, like you said, probably do another one, maybe like 5 weeks in or something, and see how it goes. But
I think we're looking at once every 4 to 6 weeks. Is probably good.
Because you gotta let stuff kind of breathe and get out there and figure
You
out
can hit
some of these
storylines when they're fresh. Yeah. Absolutely.
You have anything coming up that you're doing game wise or whatever? Because I know you.
Yeah, actually. So on Saturday afternoons, I'm in a actual play for Call of Cthulhu. That's been going well. But then on Sunday evening, I'm in another one. So your boy's streaming some Call of Cthulhu games he's a part of. I have a Saturday night Call of Cthulhu game like running on Start Playing that filled. I have 2 D&D games running concurrently as well. I'm probably going to try to start another. I might try to get up to as many as 4 or 5 games a week to run. And I'm continue to slowly edit that novella between getting the new cover done because the old cover wasn't working, and the edits and whatnot. I don't know. I keep having these deadlines I think I'm going to get it done at, and it keeps not going that way, but I'm still plugging on that. So business is good, man.
Good.
Better than ever. Your boy's doing well. What about you? I know you got a million fucking things going on the internet.
Well, things are going to slow down a little bit. One thing that we are going to be starting to work on. So Saturday I've left open because we are going to finish painting down here.
Okay.
We're hoping to be moving out of here towards the end of the year. Moving over to Delaware probably. But it all just depends. Yeah, so we got some stuff in the works for that. But I am still putting some videos out. So tomorrow I will be joining Kevin and the Fat Samurai guy on the Attainment headquarters as we review 1979's The Warriors. So we'll be sitting down reviewing that film. And then next Wednesday, I'll be with Kevin again and Mr. Tony the Dead as we do a 4-pack of films, all creature features. We're dealing with spiders, Itsy Bitsy, Sting, Spider in the Attic, and Infested. So we'll be reviewing those 4 films. And then what was the other one I saw that I had? Maybe I was going to do. Oh, that's it. So I do have. I haven't put on the schedule yet, but Tony and I do a weekly series now called The Ghouls of Midnight. So every Wednesday we do a review of alternate picks, and so next week is my pick for D. Snyder's Strangeland from 1998. So we'll be reviewing that.
Oh yeah, man! Sounds like a great time.
So I try to stay busy as well and keep content coming out. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, for the rest of you, please hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and feel free to let us know what your picks are for the opening season. What are you looking forward to? Who are you excited to see? Or just tell us that we're full of shit. I don't care. it all works out in the end.
We might be.
Might be. And put the pressure on to make sure this guy lives up to that bet. Okay.
Show me the footage. Show me the tape. Show me the tape.
All right. For the rest of y'all, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoying the weekend, and we will see you later. Take care. This is the Metal Town Radio. This is my good friend and co-host, Egg Around Poet, the Foe, and we are the fuck out of here.